Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudeva ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you for very kindly coming for our Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya Hemavadivya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Nityanandam Aham Naumi Sarvanandam Karam Param Harinama Pradam Devam Avadhuta Shiromani. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Nityananda Rama ki, Maryada Purushottam Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. Thank you all dear devotees for very kindly coming here and inspiring me with your presence. It is always said in the Shastra that more important than the speaker is the audience. Because if the speaker doesn't come, you can have another speaker. But if the audience doesn't come, the program is cancelled. So thank you all for very kindly coming and inspiring me with your very, very kind presence. Today, being the 21st of October, is actually a very, very glorious day. Exactly 55 years ago, Srila Prabhupada was here in Seattle on this day. And it doesn't end here. On the 21st of October 1968, Prabhupada sat here on the Vyasasana and cried and cried and cried profusely. You don't find Prabhupada cry often. So in North America, there are only two temples where Prabhupada cried. One is Atlanta, second is Seattle. It's very interesting. In the memories you see, night 9:30, Prabhupada went to sleep. The devotees gave a glass of hot milk, which Prabhupada had a routine of doing it. Prabhupada had a glass of hot milk and Prabhupada went to sleep. And within 30 minutes, Prabhupada came back to the temple hall, which was very unusual. Prabhupada would never do that. And Prabhupada came to the temple hall and the Vandeham prayers were going on. His own recording. The Vandeham prayers were going on. And Prabhupada standing in the temple was profusely weeping. So much so that he was sobbing. So the disciples who were sleeping, they didn't get sleep. Because they saw their Gurudev crying. And if you're an ideal disciple, you would want to quit your sleep and want to go to your Gurudev to understand why your Gurudev is crying at 9:30 at night. They came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, what happened? Srila Prabhupada, very grave, he said, I received a telegram just now that my sannyas Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj has just left this world. Prabhupada was in Seattle. He said, my sannyas Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he was the personality who inspired me to take sannyas. Prabhupada said, I was a grahastha, I never wanted to take sannyas. Because I would always feel, if I take sannyas, what will happen? Where will the money come from? How will people support me? Where will the prasadam come from? Srila Prabhupada said, I never wanted to take sannyas, but this god brother of mine, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, he forced me to take sannyas. And because of him, I accepted sannyas. And Srila Prabhupada said, when I took sannyas, I had 3 children from Grahastha life. But now Prabhupada looked at all his disciples and said, now I have 300 children in the form of all of you all. He said, I always thought, how can sannyas be something for me? But now that I have taken sannyas, Srila Prabhupada here in Seattle, he said, I am convinced, if you give up little material desire for Krishna, Krishna fills your life with so much spiritual jewels that material life can be kicked out very easily. Srila Prabhupada said, here in Seattle 1968, I announce that Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj's disappearance should be celebrated in our movement. Prabhupada passed of bereavement and he asked all the disciples who were there, please sign this. Because of him, I could come to America. It is this day. Prabhupada cried here in Seattle. In fact, if you go to YouTube, there is an audio recording. 12-minute audio recording. Prabhupada composes a verse for Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj and cries and cries and cries. So much so that Prabhupada is not even able to finish the sentence. Only 2 temples, Atlanta and our Seattle, which happened today, the 21st of October, 1968, exactly 55 years ago. So to Srila Prabhupada, who very mercifully came to America to protect all of us, to save all of us. In fact, one time Prabhupada was there in 26 2nd Avenue and Prabhupada was speaking to the hippies. And because Prabhupada had a very strong Bengali accent, many times they would have a problem in understanding what Prabhupada is speaking. They don't know the content and they are not able to understand the accent. Satsvarup Maharaj writes, when Prabhupada would say Sanatan Goswami, suntan. It is years later he got to know it is not suntan, it is Sanatan. So he had to go back to his notes to change everything. Another time Prabhupada was speaking and Prabhupada said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to America to shave all of you all. So they looked at Prabhupada and said, shave? Prabhupada, it should be save, right? Prabhupada said both. First he will shave, then he will save. He will do both. First he will shave you, then he will save you. So to that Srila Prabhupada who came to America to protect and rescue all of us. And to that Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj who inspired our Prabhupada to take sannyas. And who was a very, very dear god brother of Srila Prabhupada. To both these personalities on this day, 21st of October 1968, I prostrate my head 1,000,000 times, again and again, only hoping that the love and taste that they have for Sri Krishna, for Radha and Krishna, may that love, even an iota, if it touches my heart, and if it touches the heart of everyone present here, our life will be a success. Our life will be a success. It is only and only by the blessings and mercy of Vaishnavas that can we make advancement. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayanam katha tajjoshanadashu apavarga vartmani shraddharatir bhakti anukramishyati. It starts by associating with sadhus. And associating with sadhus means hearing Hari Katha. Coming back to our discussions on the glories and pastimes of Sri Ram, it is very beautifully explained that originally in the upper planets, the demigods, primarily Lord Shiva, he had 100 crore verses glorifying Sri Ram. 100 crore verses. The present day Valmiki Ramayana is 24,000. Lord Shiva has 100 crore verses. But Lord Shiva thought to himself, sharing is caring. What will I do having all 100 crore verses? Thoda batna bhi chahiye. So he thought to himself, let's do one thing. Let's just split up. Of the 100 crore verses, he gave 33 crore to the demigods. 33 crore he gave to the earthly planet. And next 33 crore he gave to the lower planets. So 33 crore, 33 crore, 33 crore. 99 crore verses were distributed. What's remaining? 1 crore. Lord Shiva thought to himself, I have 1 crore verses. Sharing is caring. What will I do having all 1 crore verses? He thought, let's share. He gave 33 lakh up. 33 lakh to the earthly planet. And 33 lakh down to the lower planets. 33, 33, 33. 99 lakh verses were again distributed. What's remaining? 1 lakh. Lord Shiva thought to himself, I have 1 lakh verses glorifying Sri Ram. But sharing is caring. I have 1 lakh, what will I do? He again decided to share. 33,000 he gave up. 33,000 he gave in the earthly planet. And 33,000 he gave in the lower planets. 99,000 was again distributed. What's remaining? 1,000? 1,000 verses? Now Lord Shiva thought to himself, I have 1,000 verses on Sri Ram. What will I do just having it all by myself? Sharing is caring. Let's share. He again decided to share those 1,000 verses. 333 up, 333 in the middle planets, that is earthly planet, and 333 down to the lower planets. 999 verses were again distributed. What's left? 1 verse. We started with 100 crore verses. Now Lord Shiva is just having 1 verse. But Lord Shiva thought, 1 verse means 4 lines. Sharing is caring. What will I do having just 1 verse? Let me just share. Now that 1 verse that was remaining was Anushtup Chanda. In Sanskrit, you have different meters. You have Anushtup Chanda, you have Mandakranta, you have Malini, etc. Based on the tune in which you chant and the number of syllables that are there in the verse, a meter is decided. Anushtup Chanda, for example, is, we have in the Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuktanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham. Now this is Anushtup Chanda. What is the characteristic of Anushtup Chanda? Every line will have 8 syllables. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuktanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham. Every line has 8 syllables. This is Anushtup Chanda. So Sanskrit is a very beautiful language. It's not that the tune is decided AC. Based on the syllables that are there, a tune comes up. Now, 8 in the first line, 8 in the second line, 8 in the third line, 8 in the fourth line, which means 32 syllables. Lord Shiva thought to himself, I have 32 syllables. What will I do by just having all 32 by myself? Let's distribute. Sharing is caring. Let's distribute. He gave 10 syllables up in the upper planets. He gave 10 syllables in the earthly planet. He gave 10 syllables in the lower planet. What is he left with? 2 syllables. Those 2 syllables that were left, Lord Shiva said, this is the essence of all 100 crore verses. Any guesses what those 2 syllables were? Rama. It started with 100 crore verses. From 100 crore, it became 1 crore. 1 crore then got down to 1 lakh. 1 lakh became 1,000. 1,000 became just a few hundred verses. Then 1 verse. That 1 verse became 4 lines. Then it became 32 syllables. Then it became 2 syllables. It started with 100 crore, ended with 2 syllables. Lord Shiva said, this is the essence of all scriptures. Rama. Period. Whenever we are discussing about Lord Sri Ram, it is very difficult to keep Shiva to the side. Impossible. It's next to impossible. Lord Shiva is that personality who breathes Ram Nam. And we made this point yesterday. We made this point day before yesterday also. Every time we speak about Sri Ram, Lord Shiva's topic has to be brought. And vice versa. Every time we speak about Lord Shiva, Sri Ram's topic is brought. Please kindly repeat. In the Ram Raksha Stotra, there is a very beautiful verse that comes up. Mata Ramo. Please repeat. Mat Pita Ramachandra. Swami Ramo. Mat Sakha Ramachandra. What does this mean? Mata Ramo, who is my mother? My mother is Sri Ram. Mata Ramo, Mat Pita Ramachandra. Who is my father? It is Sri Ram. Who is my mother? It is Sri Ram. Swami Ramo. Who is my Lord? Who is my Lord lifetime after lifetime? Sri Ram. Swami Ramo. Mat Sakha Ramachandra. Who is my friend? It is Sri Ram. Who is my mother? It is Sri Ram. Who is my father? It is Sri Ram. Who is my master? It is Sri Ram. Who is my life and soul? Oh, it is Sri Ram. It starts with Ram. It ends with Ram. The middle is also Ram. Adho madhyo cha antya cha hari sarvatra giyate. The essence of all scriptures is just Ram, Ram, Ram and Ram. So to that Maryada Purushottam Ramachandra, we offer our very respectful obeisances. Shri Maryada Purushottam Ramchandra Bhagavan ki. One time, there was a competition in the demigods. Even demigods have a competition. One time the demigods had a competition, and the thumb rule was to circumambulate the whole of Brahmanda. To circumambulate the whole of Brahmanda 3 times, and anyone who does it first, it was explained that anyone who comes first in the circumambulating of the whole of Brahmanda will be the recipient of all sacrifices. Whatever sacrifices are done, yagyas are done, any good activities are done, he will be the personality who will be glorified. Now every demigod got excited. Which means for the rest of eternity, any good activity that is to be done, this demigod is going to be glorified. The race began to circumambulate Brahmanda 3 times. All the demigods were running. Indra, Chandra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna, everyone is running. And here is our Ganpati also, Ganesha. And now you know, Ganesha has a big belly. He has big ears and a big belly. Now the belly size is so big, naturally his speed is very slow. By the time everyone has done 1 round, he has barely even started. Because there's so much modaks inside, he eats so much that he's not able to move. And sadly, our Ganesha doesn't go to any gym. There's no cardio. So he is very hefty. And now he's running. He's running. And he's completely tired. At that point, our Shripad Narada Muni comes there. How does Narada Muni come? Chanting the names of Radha and Krishna. Narad Muni Bojaye Veena Radhika Ramana Name. Narad Muni Bojaye Veena Radhika Ramana Name. Chanting the names of Radha and Krishna. Our Narad Muni came there. And Narad Muni looked at Ganesha and said, "Hey, what happened? Why are you running?" He said, "Oh, this is the competition. Everyone has to run. I am also running." He said, "What's the requirement?" He said, "Everyone has to circumambulate the whole of Brahmanda 3 times. He said, "That's it? That's so easy. Ganesha said, what do you mean? That's so easy. We are not talking about a small country. We are talking about Brahmanda. Narad Muni said, it is very easy. Ganesha said, Acha, how is it easy? Narad Muni said, wait, let me ask you a question. What is the Brahmanda made of? What are the three primary elements? He asked Ganesha. Ganesha said, well, according to Shastra, three primary elements are fire, sun and moon. These are the three primary elements. In the Bhagavad Gita also we find in the 15th chapter, Krishna makes this point. Na tadbhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yadgatva na nivartante tadhamam paramam mama. He talks about the fire, he talks about sun, and he talks about moon. So Ganesha said, well, according to me, the three primary elements of which the Brahmanda is made is first, fire, second is the sun, and third is the moon. Narad Muni said, exactly. Now what do you call the fire? Ganpati said, well, fire is called by another name, Krishanu. Fire has another name called as Krishanu. Narad Muni said, exactly. Fire has another name by the name Krishanu. It's also called as Krishanu. Shripad Narad Muni continued by saying, what does Kishanu mean? He said, Kishanu doesn't mean anything. Krishanu means fire. Narad Muni said, exactly. Kishanu doesn't mean anything. But you add a Ra, it becomes Krishanu and it becomes the primary element of Brahmanda. Ganesha said, correct. Narad Muni said, what is the second element that you said? He said, second element is fire. Narad Muni said, what do you call fire in Sanskrit? He said, sun. He said, what is sun called in Sanskrit? He said, sun is also called as Bhanu. Vrisha Bhanu Nandini. He said, sun is also called as Bhanu. He said, exactly. Sun is called Bhanu. If you remove that what does Bhanu mean? He said, Bhanu doesn't mean anything. Bhanu means sun. He said, Bhanu doesn't mean anything. You add an it becomes Bhanu and it means sun. Kishanu doesn't mean anything. You add a Ra, it becomes Krishanu. It means fire. What does the moon mean? He said, well, moon has another name called as Himakara. He said, it's called as Himakara. What does Hikara mean? He said, Hikara doesn't mean anything. He said, Hikara doesn't mean anything. You add a Ma, it becomes Himakara. It becomes the primary element. Ganpati said, this is correct. It becomes the primary element if you add a Ma. Narad Muni said, let me recap. What was the competition about? He said, competition was about to circumambulate Brahmanda. He said, exactly. What is the Brahmanda made of? He said, Brahmanda is made of three elements. Fire, sun and the moon. He said, exactly. What is fire, sun and moon called? He said, well, fire goes by name Krishanu, sun goes by the name Bhanu, and moon goes by the name Himakara. He said, exactly. But we also explained, Kishanu doesn't mean anything, but Krishanu, you add a Ra, it means everything. Bhanu doesn't mean everything, you add an Bhanu means the sun. Hikara doesn't mean anything, you add a Ma, it becomes Himakara and it means the moon. He said, which means, if you remove the Ra, if you remove the and if you remove the Ma, it doesn't mean absolutely anything. But if you add a Ra, a and a Ma, it becomes the three elements of Brahmanda. Ganpati said, this is correct. He said, which means, you were told to circumambulate Brahmanda. I am giving you the essence of Brahmanda, which is Ra, and Ma. Simply write Ram and circumambulate that 3 times. You will get the benefit of Brahmanda. Ganpati said, that's it. This seems very easy. He said, it is easy. It is easy. Those who take shelter of Ram Nam, it becomes easy. Ganpati, he wrote Ram. And now, not 3 times, he could do that 10 times. And by the time Indra, Chandra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna could even do it barely once. Till the time they could do the Brahmanda even once, our Ganpati had done it multiple times. And Shastra explains, he became victorious. This is why we find in any spiritual activity that we start with, Ganpati is always worshipped. For those who have been to Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir in Mumbai, will find even before seeing Radha Gopinath, we have Ganpati photo. Ganpati is worshipped. Srila Rupa Goswami profusely glorifies Ganpati in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What can we learn from Ganpati, dear devotees? First, he prioritized hearing of Krishna Katha. All the demigods left. He could have also gone. He could have prioritized something else. But he is teaching by example. When Harikatha is there, that is first. Nothing supersedes. Nothing supersedes that. Teaching by example. He sat down and heard from him. If you see Ganpati's whole form, he has big ears. What do these big ears mean? Ganpati through his big ears is teaching that these ears are only meant to hear about Krishna and to chant about Krishna. And then you see his mouth is covered. His mouth gets covered, which means he teaches by example. When superiors are present, one should not open his mouth. We should allow them to speak. And just with ears one should hear. But primarily, the reason Ganpati was victorious is because he prioritized the hearing of Krishna Katha. But again we see the same point. The essence of the whole Brahmanda is nothing but two syllables. Ra and Ma. And likewise in the start we saw the essence of all 100 crore verses that Shiva distributed was also Ra and Ma. And in fact the essence of everything is Ra and Ma. Ra, Ma. And this is what Prabhupada is coming down to give all of us. One time one disciple went to Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, I want to distribute your books lifetime after lifetime. Prabhupada said, Arey Baba, I am writing books so that you don't take another birth. Not that you stay here and keep distributing. But then Prabhupada said, the mood is good that you want to serve. But the essence should be to exit this world, not to stay here. This is what Prabhupada is giving through his books. This nectar of Krishna Katha, the nectar of Sri Chaitanya Leela, the nectar of the pastimes of Sri Ram. Yesterday we were making this point about how our Prabhu Sri Ram takes the instruction, takes the advice of his father Dasharat Maharaj. He doesn't crib, he doesn't back answer, he doesn't retaliate, he doesn't say anything. He offers his head at the lotus feet of Kaikai. She who gave him the most difficult instruction, he offers his head at her feet and simply leaves. The Supreme Lord is following the instruction of the devotee, and likewise Kaikai being the devotee is following the instruction of the Supreme. Realize it is Sri Ram who is orchestrating everything. Kaikai is simply the instrument. He wants to go for an exile. He wants to go for an exile and he makes Kaikai an instrument to speak those words. So oftentimes we find the devotee also bends for the Supreme Lord. And in this case it is Kaikai. In the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we find when Mahaprabhu was traveling after sannyas, he had a servant by the name Govinda Ghosh. Three brothers, Govinda Ghosh, Madhav Ghosh and Vasudev Ghosh. The Chaitanya Charitamrita explains during Jagannath Rath Yatra, there would be 7 groups of dancing parties. 7 groups, and it would be picture perfect. Who is going to play kartal, who is going to play mridanga, who is going to be the vocals leading, and who are the people who are going to dance. Everything was orchestrated. No haphazard dancing. Was properly formed. And one of the groups was led by Govinda Ghosh. Very, very dear associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda Ghosh, after Mahaprabhu's sannyas, was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal servant. And he was the personal servant for many years, prior to Govinda. Govinda was the servant during the end, but before that was Govinda Ghosh. Very beautifully it is explained that every day after Mahaprabhu would have his prasad, for digestion, Govinda would give him Hari Thaki, which means, just like you say, you have sof, that aids digestion. Likewise, Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, he would give him Hari Thaki, which is nothing but it aids digestion. So one day Mahaprabhu finished eating, and he was waiting, looking for Govinda Ghosh. And Govinda Ghosh was not to be seen anywhere. After about 30 minutes, Govinda Ghosh comes, and he says, my dear Lord, this is for you. So Mahaprabhu accepts. The next day, Mahaprabhu again honors his prasad. And this time, Govinda Ghosh readily gives Hari Thaki. Mahaprabhu says, hey, yesterday you took 30 minutes, today immediately you are giving, what's the logic? He said, my dear Lord, I didn't want you to wait. So that's why I collected extra yesterday. I collected extra yesterday so that you don't have to wait. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have the mood of collecting like a grahastha. You are a brahmachari externally, you have the mood of collecting like a grahastha. Time to change your ashram. Govinda Ghosh said, my dear Lord, I am doing it for you. You should not wait. That's why I am collecting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Brahmachari means he will not keep. No collecting. The mood of collecting is for grahasthas. Brahmacharis don't collect. You are collecting and keeping. This is grahastha mode. You should get married. Govinda Ghosh started crying, my dear Lord, kya galti ho gaya mere se? What wrong did I do? Please forgive me. Mahaprabhu said, grahastha means grahastha. Please go. And he had to change his ashram. Mahaprabhu's Namo Mahavadanyaya, but he can be very, very strict at times. He was made to change ashram. Govinda Ghosh gets married. Oftentimes we see, dear devotees, that when sometimes brahmacharis become grahasthas, or when sannyasis become grahasthas, we have question in our head. That, hey, he was sannyasi, now he is grahastha. He was brahmachari, now he is grahastha. We have questions in our head. And very fast we jump into conclusions. But we don't know whether it is Krishna who has inspired that person. It's possible Krishna wants something out of that. I'll give you another example to illustrate this point. It's not always a fall down. Even if a sannyasi becomes a grahastha, it's not a fall down. It's possible Mahaprabhu wants something out of that person. So Govinda Ghosh enters grahastha. Please hear this. Govinda Ghosh enters grahastha. He gets married. And then he has a son. Govinda Ghosh has a family deity by the name Gopinath. Every day Govinda Ghosh would offer prasad to this family deity of Gopinath. One day Govinda Ghosh had to go for a preaching program. Now the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually wanted him to change the ashram is if he is a brahmachari with Mahaprabhu 24 hours, he cannot preach. But if he is a grahastha, he can travel and preach and he can help the world. So Haritaki was external, iha bahya. The internal was Mahaprabhu wanted him to preach. So one time Govinda Ghosh goes for a preaching program and he tells his son, can you offer to Gopinath? I have to go for a preaching program. The son says, okay. He goes to Gopinath, keeps a plate and looks at Gopinath and says, Gopinath, please eat. Now you know offering doesn't work this way. You chant mantras and then there are some transcendental things that happen that we can't see. So Gopinath wasn't moving. He said, Gopinath, eat. Gopinath, eat. Gopinath, please eat. Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj was saying. He even picked up the stick, looking at Gopinath. He said, Gopinath, eat. If you don't eat, I will whip you with that stick. Gopinath, eat. Gopinath said, hey, offering doesn't work this way. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. I can eat from my eyes also. He said, those logic I don't understand. According to me, eating is like this. Hand to mouth. You come down and eat in front of me. Gopinath said, I will do it. You promise you will not tell anyone. He said, I will not tell anyone. Gopinath said, if you tell anyone, that's it. You're going to die at that point. He said, I will not tell anyone. The same parallel we see with Raghunandan and Mukunda. Same parallel. Same parallel. He tells Gopinath. Gopinath comes down. Gopinath comes down from the altar. Can you imagine Neela Madhav coming down from the altar and eating what you have prepared? 5-year-old's devotion gets Gopinath down on his knees. Gopinath is eating. He eats half the plate. Then he looks and says, are you now happy? He says, now I'm happy. He gives the plate back. After some time, Govinda Ghosh comes. Govinda Ghosh looks and says, hey, I told you to offer. What did you do? He said, I offered. He said, what offering is this? You went inside and finished half plate? He said, no. He said, what is the reason? Why is the plate half? Imagine you have 7 o'clock evening service and you have to keep offering like this. You are the pujari. And by the time you take the plate down, plates are half. Who is going to believe that Neela Madhav ate? Hand to mouth. He is actually eating. But who is going to believe that looking at your devotion, he ate hand to mouth? No one. Who will believe the words of a 5-year-old? Impossible. Govinda Ghosh said, hey, I am the father. Don't trick me. He said, no, really. I gave it to the Lord. He said, what happened after that? He said, Gopinath ate. Gopinath ate. That spur of the moment when he said Gopinath ate, based on the promise, that boy died at that spur of the moment. Was not able to speak anything else. Govinda Ghosh understands. That night Gopinath comes in a dream and says, I had promised to him that he should not say it to anyone, but you forced him. And that's why you lost your child. He said, my dear Lord, I didn't know it. Mujhe nahi pata tha. Gopinath said, from this day onwards, I am your son. From this day onwards, I am your son. He said, my dear Lord, you are my Lord. You are not my son. Let's not switch positions. You are master, I am servant. We'll maintain this. Gopinath said, I am your son. He said, no, my dear Lord. Gopinath said, are you accepting or not? I am your son. He said, why are you forcing me? You make me get married. Then I have a son. Then you say that death of that son is also because of me. Now you switch relation. And now you are saying that you are the son. What is this? Gopinath said, I am your son. Just accept it. He said, okay. Then Govinda Ghosh said, my dear Lord, in the future when I die, what will happen? Who will take the family lineage ahead? Gopinath said, I am your son. As a son, I will do everything. You just preach. You just preach the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, okay. Years passed by. Govinda Ghosh was serving the Lord, was preaching constantly, vigorously. He would go from village to village to village to preach. Eventually one day Govinda Ghosh left this world. It is very interesting. The day Govinda Ghosh left this world is the day Sripad Ayindra Prabhu appeared in this world. Govinda Ghosh disappearance. And it's very interesting, we will come to this point. Govinda Ghosh left this world. And now people were thinking, no, ideally it's the son who does. The last rites are always done by the son. Now people were thinking, hey, who's the son? Gopinath was always saying he is the son, he is the son, he is the son. If he is the son, let him prove that. बोलने में तो कोई भी बोल सकता है, अब वाकई में करके दिखाए तो मानेंगे कि गोपीनाथ वास्तव में पुत्र है. That day morning, Gopinath was dressed elegantly in a very, very beautiful attire. When Govinda Ghosh left this world and they eventually brought the body in front of Radha Gopinath, it was very mysteriously seen that Gopinath was wearing white completely, like a son weeping for his departed father. How the transformation happened, no one knew. He didn't have jewels, he didn't have garlands, he didn't have anything. He was standing white in his dress, in his attire. It is explained till this date. It is explained till this date, Govinda Ghosh does the last rites, or Gopinath does the last rites for Govinda Ghosh, even till this date. Dear devotees, when Govinda Ghosh left this world, his deity of Gopinath was brought to the king. The king was taking care. And every year it's a custom, the deity of Gopinath, on the disappearance of Govinda Ghosh, it goes to the king. The king takes care for the next 6 months. And on the day of Dasera Vijayadashmi, Gopinath is brought back to the house of Govinda Ghosh. That's on Monday. So Govinda Ghosh has also a very strong connection with Vijayadashmi Dashera. His deity of Gopinath, that is his own son, comes back to the house of Govinda Ghosh. So oftentimes we jump into conclusions and say, hey, he fell down, but we don't know what the Lord wants. I give you another example. In Maharashtra, there was a saint by the name Vitthal Panta. Sant Vitthal Panta. He was a sannyasi. Now the Lord has very, very mystical ways of arranging things. Vitthal comes in the dream. Lord Vitthal comes in the dream of Vitthal Panta and says, get married. He said, hey, I am sannyasi. Vitthal says, get married. Because through you, I want a son, and that son is going to preach all over the world. Get married. He said, my dear Lord, ask me to do anything. I am a sannyasi. Why are you asking me? What will people say? Vitthal says, get married. He says, okay. This saint Vitthal Panta gets married. People pelt stones at him. Say, hey, seems like he was a sannyasi, but now he's dongi. He is not a sannyasi. Inside his heart, different things were going on. But he doesn't open his mouth. He doesn't tell anyone, hey, it is Vittal's desire. He gets married. From a sannyasi, now he's a grahastha. And now he has a son. Vitthal Pant's son is the great Jnaneshwar. The great Santa Jnaneshwar. Now, for those who are not Maharashtrians, Santa Jnaneshwar is a legend from Maharashtra. At the age of 16, he writes Jnaneshwari, which is nothing but the Marathi version of Bhagavad Gita. At the age of 16, to prove his power potency, he touches a buffalo. He touches a buffalo. It's a real story. He touches a buffalo. That buffalo starts chanting 700 verses of Gita. It's a real story of Maharashtra. Now you tell me, if Vitthal Pantha did not get married, how will Jnaneshwar come to this world? Tukaram and Jnaneshwar are always glorified. Just like we glorify Rupa and Sanatan in Gaudiya. In Varkari Maharashtra Sampradaya, it is always Tukaram and Jnaneshwar first. Now, his father was a sannyasi. He stepped down to fulfill the desire of the Lord. Dear devotees, next time if we see a sannyasi become a grahastha or a brahmachari become a grahastha, let us not jump into conclusions. Every change of attire is not a fall down. It is possible that Krishna wants something out of him which we cannot see. Only time is going to unfold. And oftentimes, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj was saying this in a class, oftentimes it is seen that grahasthas means people say, hey, he is grahastha, he is brahmachari. More respect is given. Srila Radhanath Maharaj was saying, grahasthas are also equally glorious. Why? Of the 11 Mahajans, 7 Mahajans were grahasthas. When I heard that, I was like, wow, I had never thought that way. Said, of the 11 Mahajans, 7 were grahasthas. So grahasthas are also no less. And brahmacharis are of course very glorious. So anytime this change happens of attire, let us pause, let us wait and not jump into conclusions. So just like Govinda Ghosh being the devotee follows the order of Gopinath, just like Vitthal Panta being the devotee follows the order of Vitthal Dev, similarly Kaikai or Dasharath being the devotee followed the instruction of Sri Ram that he wanted to go to the forest. And they said, my dear Lord, if that is your desire, so be it. What can we do? Look at the treasure that Prabhupada is giving us. Hari Katha hi Katha, baki sab vyata hi vyata. Hari Katha is everything. This is nectar. Doesn't matter whether we are 1 or we are 10, doesn't matter. When Prabhupada was in 26th Avenue, how many were there for his Katha? Handful. In fact, it is very beautifully explained. One time Prabhupada was there in the Bowery. And the Bowery is not a place where aristocratic people live. The hippies live. The drug addicts live there. Prabhupada was there in the Bowery. And every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he would give Bhagavad Gita classes. One day Prabhupada came for the class. He sat on the Vyasasana. There was no one in front of him. Complete khali. There was no one in front of him. Can you imagine a 70-year-old coming from America having no contacts, no winter clothes, no money, no place to stay, living with drug addicts, living with hippies. His dictaphone gets stolen, his typewriter gets stolen. He is there for a class. Every wall is putting posters. No one is coming for the class. He sits for a class and then, Haribol, there's no one in the audience. Prabhupada begins to speak. With a dictaphone, Prabhupada begins to speak. Closing his eyes, Prabhupada begins to speak. Whole class, there was no one. Prabhupada speaks for 1 hour, closing his eyes just for Krishna. Dear devotees, that class was later heard by the disciples, and that class is now the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. The introduction to Bhagavad Gita that we find was a class given by Prabhupada to no one. There was no one in the audience at 26th Avenue or in the Bowery. The struggle that Prabhupada went through is unimaginable. And that is why he got the fruit that no one got. So we see, our Prabhu Sri Ram accepts the desire, very humbly accepts the desire of his father Dasharath Maharaj and decides to go to the forest. And yesterday we see we're talking about Navadvip Dham. He goes from place to place, place to place, place to place and comes to Navadvip. In Navadvip Dham, he comes to one of the islands. Now Navadvip has 9 islands. Nava means 9, Dvipa means island. It has 9 islands. Janudvip, Ritudvip, Simantadvip, Godrumadvip, etc. Godrumadweep is the place where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur lived all his life. Our Prabhu Sri Ram, along with Lakshman and Maya Sita, came to one of these islands, and they were staying under a banyan tree for many days. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Navadvip Dham Mahatmya explains. Now this is not Valmiki Ramayana. This is some tangent. This is a complete tangent. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, our Prabhu Sri Ram was standing under a banyan tree and he was smiling. He was smiling. And Maya Sita looked at him and said, hey, why are you smiling? What is the reason for smiling? There's no one here. I didn't crack a joke. Why are you smiling all by yourself? Sri Ram said, hey Sita, I have to tell you something. Sita said, what is the thing? Sri Ram said, this is Treta Yuga. The Yuga after this will be Dwapar, when I will come as Krishna. But the Yuga after that, which means 2 yugas from now, will be the age of Kali, where people will not be devotional at all. There will be no interest in any of the limbs of Krishna consciousness. People will be atheistic. Even those who are little devotional, they will be pulled down by others. This is the crab mentality. No, crabs have a mentality. If you put the crabs in a basket, if one crab tries to escape, other crabs pull him back. We will not go, you should also not go. Instead of helping each other, they will say, hum nahi jayenge, you should also not go. This is crab mentality. This is mentality of this world. I will not make advancement, I will not allow you also to make advancement. I will get you down. I am atheistic, I will make you also atheistic. It's the crab mentality. Sri Ram said, in that age of Kali, I will come down to this world in a form that will never be seen. In a form that is seen once in 8.4 billion years. Hey Sita, I will take your complexion and I will take your mood and sentiments and I will come down as Shachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Sita Devi said, oh, where will I be? He said, you will be there in my heart. As Srimati Radharani, you will be there in my heart. Sri Ram is thinking this and he's smiling because he, like a movie, is seeing the whole Gaur Leela. He is seeing the whole Gaur Leela in front of him. He explains as to how Lakshman will come as Nityananda Prabhu, how others will come as Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, how all these associates will come down, how even Guha, you see in Ramayana you have Guha. It's very beautifully explained when Ram and Lakshman were in the forest. For 14 years Lakshman never slept. For 14 years he never slept. And we sleep like this. Especially in Katha. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Snoranam. Even a person who has insomnia, if he comes for Katha, he will sleep. You pick up a Bhagavad Gita, by the time you finish 1.5 pages, there is some transcendental pastime that happens here. Naturally the eyes close. Shachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu said, Sri Ram said, in that age when people are bereft of Krishna consciousness, I will appear. Now back to Guha. When Ram and Lakshman and Maya Sita were there in the forest, for 14 years Lakshman never slept, always in service. And every day at night he would be standing with bow and arrow. If someone comes, I will shoot. One time Guha came there and he looked from a distance. He said, hey, I thought he is here for protecting Sri Ram, but seems like when Ram is sleeping, he wants to kill Ram. He is not a real brother. He wants to kill his own brother. He kaisa bhai hai? So Guha picked up his arrow. And from a distance, he was pointing at Sri Lakshman. Now Lakshman is having his arrow and his bow. From a distance, Guha misunderstands and he picks up his arrow pointing at Lakshman. Guha's associates from a distance, they think, hey, our master, Shri Radha Nila Madhava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Guha's associates who are there, they see from a distance and they say, he is our master and we thought he is here for Lakshman's protection and Ram and Lakshman's protection, but he has ulterior agenda. He wants to kill Lakshman. They picked up their arrows. Now, Guha's associates have picked up arrows and pointing at Guha. Guha has picked up arrow and pointing at Lakshman. And Lakshman has picked up his arrow and pointing here and there. All ready to fire arrows at each other. After some time, Lakshman keeps his bow and arrow down. Guha understands, oh, he didn't want to kill Ram. The arrow is out for protection. If someone offends Ram, then he will kill that person. It's not to kill Ram. So Guha kept his arrows down. Then the associates saw, they say, that's what we thought. Our master is not like this. He will not kill Lakshman. They also put their arrows down. Classic case of misunderstanding amongst devotees. Classic case of misunderstanding. When things unfolded, it became clear. That Guha appeared as Sadananda Bhattacharya in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Nimai appeared, Sri Ram is saying all this. Sri Ram says, I will appear as Gauranga. You as Radharani will jump into my heart. My father Dasharath Maharaj will appear as Jagannath Mishra. My mother Kaushalya will appear as Sachi Mata. Guha Karaj, that is Guha, will appear as Sadananda Bhattacharya. So much so that when Nimai appeared in this world, Sadananda Bhattacharya was already present. He was waiting to see his Lord. But he had doubts whether it is my Sri Ram or whether it is someone else. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this. That day Sadananda Bhattacharya, that is Guha, goes back home. And while he goes home, he starts worshipping his deity of Sri Ram. And it is explained as he is worshipping Sri Ram, the deity of Sri Ram transforms into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transforms back to Sri Ram and Sita. And again transforms back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then transforms back to Radha and Krishna. Sadananda Bhattacharya is going crazy. He says, hey, who are you? Are you Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Are you Ram? Are you Radha Krishna? Who are you? That night Sri Ram came in the dream and said, I have come down as Sri Shachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The love and attachment that you always have for Ram, please show that same love even for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, dear devotees, as he is speaking all this, he is underneath a tree and he is smiling. He is explaining as to how, as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he is going to spread the holy name. Our chanting, we know how it is. Very transcendental chanting. More than the chanting beads, we are interested in counter beads. Our attention is more on counter beads than chanting beads. If Srila Prabhupada would have seen our chanting, we put our hand inside and then we start chanting and then we start scrolling. This transcendental pastime starts. Only if Prabhupada knew that the index finger is meant for scrolling, he would have sealed this also. He would have sealed this also. No showing of index finger. With that index finger we scroll, that index finger we point, we direct devotees, hey, you do this. Except moving our beats, everything happens with the index finger. My worshipable spiritual master, Sri Srimad Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj, was explaining once. In fact, I heard this from His Grace Gauranga Prabhu. In one class, Gauranga Prabhu was saying in the early 2000s, he was there with Srila Guru Maharaj at Los Angeles airport. And they were from Los Angeles, they were heading out somewhere in the same flight. So you see, before you enter the aircraft, you scan your boarding pass for one final time. So Srila Guru Maharaj scanned. Gauranga Prabhu also scanned. And then Srila Guru Maharaj went ahead. And then Gauranga Prabhu scanned and then he came and he saw that Srila Guru Maharaj is still standing, he's still waiting. So Gauranga Prabhu said, what happened? Srila Guru Maharaj said, I don't know how to open this door, it doesn't have any handles. So I don't know how to open. Gauranga Prabhu said, oh, this is sensor based. You just go close by, it will open automatically. You don't require any handles. Srila Guru Maharaj said, okay. They sat in the aircraft. When they sat in the aircraft, Guru Maharaj said, When in the Bhagavatam we hear that Vasudeva Maharaj had Krishna on his head and the gates opened, that time we doubt Bhagavatam. But if that same technology can be there in Los Angeles airport where you go close by and the doors open, why is it difficult to accept that Vasudeva Maharaj kept Krishna on his head and the doors opened? Janki rahi bhavana jaisi Prabhu muhurat tin dekhi desi. Based on the mood that we cultivate, dear devotees, we can see Krishna at all times, at all places, at all circumstances. After this, the next time we go to Safeway and the doors open, let us remember Vasudeva Maharaj. Next time you go to airports, the doors open, let us remember Vasudeva Maharaj. This is how we bring Bhagavatam in our lives. Not that we hear Bhagavatam and we go out and we forget. Application part is the most important. Hiranyakashipu knew Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, of course, Prahlad Maharaj's father, that is Hiranyakashipu, knew all the scriptures. Ravana knew all the scriptures. Kumbhakarna knew all the scriptures. Knowing the scripture doesn't make us a devotee. Quoting verses doesn't make us a devotee. That even AI generated app can do it. That doesn't make us a devotee. It's the heart, it's the application. How much we can cry for Krishna. That AI cannot do. That only Jiva can do. And Krishna sees that. It is tears that conquer Krishna, nothing else. Nothing else. Because everything he has, it's only the tears of a devotee that conquers him. Bilva Mangala Thakur cried, he got Krishna. Rukmini cried, she got Krishna. The gopis cried, they got Krishna. Bhishmadev cried, he got Krishna. Dhruva cried, he got Krishna. Prahlad cried, he got Krishna. It has been seen again and again and again. Those who have cried have gotten Krishna. So our Maryada Purushottam Ramachandra, standing under a tree, is telling all this to Maya Sita. And he tells, O Sita, it will happen in the future that after the kidnapping everything happens. When Sita Devi again came back, due to political and social pressure and etiquettes, she was sent back to the ashram of Valmiki. She could not spend time with Sri Ram. At that time it is explained, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, when Sita Devi went back to the ashram of Valmiki, our Prabhu Sri Ram carved a deity of Maya Sita and was worshipping every day. So much separation. Our Lord worships and loves his devotees like no one else. No one can love us as much as the Supreme Lord. Not even our parents, not even our family members. No one. Because everyone is time bound. They're only going to be there for 30, 40, 50 years. How much more? Krishna has been there with us for lifetimes together, waiting when we can turn our face towards Krishna. He is our only well-wisher. We don't have any other well-wisher, dear devotees. He is, and he was, and he will be our only and only well-wisher. Suridham sarva bhutanam nyatva mam shantim ruchati. He is our eternal dear friend. And what do? We keep that friend to the side. Say, Krishna, you can wait. Let me just hang around with these friends because these friends mean life to me. And then that friend circle changes and then it again changes and again changes. That personality who is sitting lifetime after lifetime for us, we reject him. Sri Ram made a deity form of Maya Sita and was worshipping every single day. In Gaura Leela, we see the same parallels. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Vishnu Priya makes a deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and worships every single day. This deity is Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu in Navadvip. Every single day she worships the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Treta Yuga, the Lord worships his devotee. In Kali Yuga, the devotee worships the Lord. Now Vishnu Priya was so glorious. You see, we are clubbing Gaur Leela and Ram Leela together now. We get the benefit of both. As she was worshipping Shri Sachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu every single day as Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, all day it is explained, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, all day she would chant. After every round, she would keep one grain to the side. After every round, she would keep one grain to the side. At the end of the day, the number of grains that would be collected, that is all that she would eat. Now you can imagine, even if you chant 192 rounds, what is 192 grains? Handful. At the age of 16, Mahaprabhu left her. Vishnupriya was very young. All her life, Vishnupriya lived crying in separation from Sachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu. She lived till the age of 96. For the next 80 years, she was crying and crying and crying in separation from Gauranga Mahaprabhu. For the next 80 years, this was her niyam. She would just eat grains based on the number of chanting. All that she had was Sachi Mata. And Sachi Mata also departed this world after some time. She lived a life in separation. She lived decades in separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Ram says, my dear Sita, you are going to be that Vishnu Priya. And I am going to be that Sachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu. When Sita Devi hears this, she has tears flowing. She says, my dear Lord, why will you do this to me? What wrong did I do? If you anyway have to leave me, why do you even get married? Why are you entering Grahastha and then taking sannyas only to leave me at the age of 16 and have 80 years of separation, my dear Lord? Sita Devi is having tears. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practically speaks the whole Gaur Leela standing under the tree. That place where Sri Ram remembered Gaur Leela and had a smile on his face, is called as Moda Druma Dweep. Moda means smile, happiness. Druma means a banyan tree. And Dweepa means island. That island under a banyan tree where Prabhu Sri Ram smiled, remembering Gaur Leela, remembering Vishnu Priya, remembering Sadananda Bhattacharya, remembering all these associates, is the present day Moda Druma Dweep. Of the 9 islands, dear devotees, 1 island has a very strong connection with Prabhu Sri Ram. How wonderful. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the introduction to this pastime, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when will that day arise in my life when prema, love of Godhead, will be there in my heart and I can see the freshly formed grass-like color of Prabhu Sri Ram. As we explained yesterday, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a Ram Bhakta at the start. He loves Ram. Even till the end, he loved Sri Ram. He prays, when will that day come when I can see Sri Ram in front of me? When will that day come when I will see Ram and Maya Sita together? When will that day arise in my life when I will see Lakshman? When will that day come when I will see Hanuman for his selfless service? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, my dear Lord, if I have done any good, any bhakti if I have, please give me your darshan. I am dying for it, my dear Lord. Who is saying? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. These associates of the Lord are very, very glorious. Very, very glorious. In the Bhagavatam, in the 5th canto, we find Hanuman says this. Hanuman says, na janma nunam mahato na saubhagam na vakna buddhi na akriti stosha hetu tayyad visishtan apino vano kasas chakara sakhe bata lakshmanagraja. In the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, Hanuman is saying, look at me. Hanuman is saying, look at me. Na janma nunam. I don't have an aristocratic birth. Why? Because he's a monkey. What high birth do the monkeys have? Na janma nunam. Mahato na saubhagam. I don't have the saubhagya of a very high class aristocratic birth. Na vak. I don't even have a proper tongue. Na buddhi. I don't have proper intelligence. Na akriti stosha hetu. I am not beautiful. Are monkeys beautiful? You will know if you go to Vrindavan how beautiful they are. Especially if you have glasses. My goodness, they are skilled like anything. I remember many years back, I was near Yamuna and I was in an auto rickshaw. No? They have the auto rickshaw. Not even a cycle rickshaw, an auto rickshaw. And it was going in a decent speed. It wasn't slow, it wasn't fast either, a decent speed. I was sitting to the end, my mother was there, and then my brother was there. In a moving auto, out of nowhere, a monkey came, kept his hand on my head, and picked up my glasses. Even before I could realize my glasses are Gaur Premanande. They're gone. So much so that because it was Yamuna, the imprint of his paw was there on my head. So I just took it as a blessing of the monkey. What more can I do? But you see, these monkeys are so skilled. They are not behind your glasses. They are behind what you give. And if it's summer, it is fruity. They love fruity. And it is dadati pratigrinnati. You give fruity in one hand, they will put glasses in other hand. Dadati pratigrinnati. And that also, if it is summer time, 50 degrees Celsius, you give them normal fruity, they will not give you glasses. It has to be from the refrigerator. I am saying out of experience. It has to be chilled. You give them with the straw, they will put the straw inside, take one sip, they will figure out it is cold, it is according to their standards. It is according to their standard, then they will give the glass. Dadati pratigrinnati. And if you don't give them the fruity, you know what will happen. You're probably never going to get the glasses back. Now monkeys are not beautiful. Hanuman is saying, Are Baba, look at me, I'm a monkey, I don't have intelligence, I don't have beauty, I don't have aristocratic birth, I don't have a proper tongue, I don't have any of these things. He says, Tayyad Visishthan Apino Vanaukasas. I live in the forest. I don't even have a proper house. How many of us will go and embrace a homeless? Imagine going out in the street and you going and embracing a homeless. You have to be literally Nityananda Prabhu to do that. You have to be a fully Avadut to do that. A normal person will probably not do it. Hanuman doesn't even have a house. He's living in the forest. He says, still, the first 3 lines are practically disqualification that he speaks about himself. He said, still, Chakara Sakhe Bata Lakshmana Agraja. Still the older brother of Lakshman has accepted and embraced me. If he has accepted and embraced me, someone who has no qualification, will he not accept and embrace all of us? He said, of course he will. Of course. If the tongue is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the ears are hearing about the pastimes of Sri Ram, that Sri Ram who can accept even the animals will come and accept all of us. This is the mood that Prabhupada is giving. This is what Prabhupada is writing in his books. When Srila Prabhupada was in 22nd Avenue, at that time it is explained that Prabhupada would have a dictaphone and Prabhupada would record everything in that. And that is the time Hayagriva Prabhu joined, 1967. Now Hayagriva Prabhu was a professor at NYU, New York University, which is ranked even now very high. He was a professor of English at New York University. When Prabhupada got to know, Prabhupada's eyes lit up. He said, you know English? Can you translate? Can you transcribe? I will record. Can you transcribe? This was the first day he came to the movement. Prabhupada is asking him for service. He said, Swamiji, first let me understand content. After that I will do. Prabhupada said, I will teach you content. He said, Swamiji, let's take it easy. First let me understand content, then let's see. Prabhupada said, okay. Hayagriva Prabhu kept coming. After a few weeks, Prabhupada again asked, now that you know content, now that you have done device, imagine you have finished your device and you are translating or transcribing Prabhupada's books. We are smiling at this point. This is what Hayagriva Prabhu's service was. Because there was no one. You attend 7 classes of device and then you are the editor of Prabhupada's books. Those are the books we are studying now. It's a miracle that happened at 22nd Avenue. Such a miracle will never happen. Never ever. Mukunda Maharaj writes a book. He gives the name of the book, Miracle at 22nd Avenue. It's a very, very beautiful book. So many pastimes of Prabhupada at 22nd Avenue. So that time, Hayagriva Prabhu started. And then there was a point where Prabhupada was racing through the dictaphone and they were not able to keep speed because Prabhupada's Bengali accent, they were not able to understand their 19-year-old children. Teens. So this gap increased and increased and increased. And eventually there was a point when Hayagriva Prabhu's speed completely went down. Now Prabhupada was thinking, who will do that? These books need to be transcribed and translated, but who is going to do that? At that time, an 18-year-old boy walks into the storefront. He knocks. Brahmananda Prabhu opens. There's an 18-year-old boy. Brahmananda Prabhu says, how can I help? He says, well, I'm from the Antioch College here in New York. And it's my summer time, so I just want to do some internship. So he said, well, we are not a company. We ourselves don't, we have barely started. What internship we will give? We don't have any money. He said, I don't want money. I just want to do for extra credits. Give me something. So Brahmananda Prabhu said, okay, what is your expertise? What are you good at? That 18-year-old boy said, I am good at typing and I am good at transcribing. Brahmananda Prabhu said, he brought him inside. He opened the trunk. He said, all yours. Everything is yours. And my goodness, this boy for the next 3 months was at 26th Avenue as an internship college credit for Antioch College. He came there, started transcribing, and somehow he was able to understand Prabhupada's accent. My goodness, he was racing through the tapes. He was on par with Prabhupada. And dear devotees, at the end of 3 months, do you want to know the books that he transcribed? The Bhagavad Gita, the Ishopanishad, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and Upadeshamrit. These 4 books were translated and transcribed by an 18-year-old as a college credit program during the 3 months of 1967. His name was Neil. Who's that Neil? It is him. Brahmananda Prabhu says, after that we never saw him. He never came back. Brahmananda Prabhu says, that day we realized wherever Prabhupada was there, miracle was a very normal thing. And there are so many miracles that happen at 26th Avenue. If you read that book, it's miracle after miracle after miracle. It's like a fairy tale. How do you expect that? Imagine an 18-year-old coming to a ISKCON temple and saying, I want to do college credit program, free of cost. And what is your expertise? This. Transcribing? How is it even possible? It's not possible. What is the name of the boy? Neil. He is not Neil. He is Neela Madhav. He came and helped Prabhupada translate these books. And after 3 months, he was never to be seen again. Never did he come back. Hare Krishna. It was a normal thing in Prabhupada's life, miracles. The nectar that we are discussing right now is what Srila Prabhupada gave all of us. The nectar of the pastimes of Sri Ram. The nectar of the pastimes of Sri Krishna. The nectar of the pastimes of Shachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The only price that we have to pay is sincerity. We say this and then we will end our discussion. The only prize that Sri Ram is looking out for all of us is sincerity. We don't have to be someone great. We don't have to know a lot of verses. We can be whoever we are. We can be one small devotee in a congregation. That's completely fine. We don't have to be high. We can be one small devotee, but if there is sincerity, Krishna loves that more than anything else. Srila Prabhupada was in a train journey. Please hear this. Srila Prabhupada was there in a train journey. This was in India. And he was traveling with Yamuna Mataji. Yamuna Mataji was 19, again a teen. This movement has been established by teens, not even youth. They are teens. Yamuna Mataji was 19, leaving family behind. She was there in the train journey with Prabhupada, going from one city to another city for preaching. And as Prabhupada was there in the train, Prabhupada opened his lunchbox. And Prabhupada looked and said, Yamuna, rice means hot. Rice means it should be hot. And Prabhupada said, rice should never be reheated because it is not good for health. So he said, Yamuna, rice means hot. Yamuna Mataji said, yes, Prabhupada. Now what will we do? Hmm? Huh? When I heard this, I was also looking at myself. Srila Prabhupada told Yamuna Mataji, rice should not be reheated. It is not good for health. It should be cooked fresh and had. Yamuna Mataji said, yes, Prabhupada. Now it's an Indian train. She goes to the pantry and looks at the pantry guy and says, I want to cook. He said, what do you want to do? She said, I want to cook. He said, here you can't cook. Whatever we give, that only you have to take. She said, no, I have to cook. My father is there. Not even spiritual master. My father is there. Look at the love. Look at the love, dear devotees. A 19-year-old. So my father is there and he's old. So he has nothing to eat. So I have to cook something. The pantry person said, whatever is here, he can have that. She said, no, he will not have this. I have to cook something. He said, no, here you can't cook. This is not a cooking, it's not a kitchen. This is, whatever is there, you have to just take that. Yamuna Mataji looked at him and said, are you allowing me or not? He said, no. Yamuna Mataji said, I ask you again, are you allowing me or not? She said, no. That person, the pantry guy said, no, I will not allow. What will he do? Yamuna Mataji said, I am asking you for the last time, are you going to allow me to cook or not? He said, no, I will not allow you. What will you do? Yamuna Mataji went outside the train, almost to jump from the train. If you don't allow me, I will jump, the name will be on you. That pantry guy said, all yours, take. He gave the vessels also. It's all yours. She was ready to jump from a train for her Gurudev. What level of sincerity is this? Yamuna Mataji cleans the whole kitchen, cleans all the vessels, washes all of them, puts Ganga Jal, purifies everything, prepares hot rice, dal, sabji, and gives it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, here is it. Prabhupada didn't even expect it. When was the last time we went to the kitchen? We would have not even seen kitchen in an Indian train. Right? We would have not even seen a kitchen of an Indian train. We are not talking about an American train. It's not Amtrak. It's not an American train. It's an Indian train. She went and gave it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada looked and had tears in his eyes. A 19-year-old is ready to jump from a train for me. Prabhupada said, Yamuna, you are my Annapurna. With tears in his eyes, Yamuna, you are my Annapurna. And then Srila Prabhupada said, Yamuna is on the platform of Bhav. She is not from this world. She is on the platform of Bhav. These devotees have given their life to spread the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How fortunate are we to be in a moment that is built by teens who were ready to give their life by even jumping from the train. It is only sincerity that attracts Krishna, nothing else. He is not looking for anything else. It is simple love and devotion, simple sincerity. Very simple sincerity. That attracts Sri Ram also. That attracts Krishna and attracts Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Having said this, I very humbly want to stop here and want to thank all of you all for very kindly coming and inspiring me. If not for all of you all, maybe I would have just slept at home and wasted my time. But because of all of you all, I was made to speak and remember the pastimes of Sri Ram, primarily in connection with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, primarily in connection with Modadrumadvip, the glories of Yamuna Mataji, the glories of Ram Nam, the split of 33, the split of how Ram, that is the fire, sun and the moon, and so on and so forth. Thank you all devotees for very, very kindly coming here and blessing me. And tomorrow will be the last session of our discussion where we wrap up again with the glories of Prabhu Sri Ram. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Arjun Sakha Prabhu ji ki
Jai.
So tomorrow's session will be at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Before the